President a letter from me to him outlining the chaos that his refusal to enforce the border laws has caused in the state of Texas. I told him how thousands of Texans have lost their lives, that tens of thousands of Texans have their lives destroyed by his open border policies. But most importantly, I provided to him something that he asked for. The president asked for solutions from Republicans. In the letter that I gave him, I provided 5 solutions that already exist under current United States law. All we ask the president to do is to enforce these 5 standards under American law already. If he does that, he will make enormous strides in securing our border and eliminating the illegal immigration so they can get back to the pathway of dealing with legal immigration in the United States.
What did the president have to say? The president is here in El Paso.
Listen, the president who caused the chaos of the border needed to be here. It just so happens he's 2 years and about $20 billion too late. He needs to step up and take swift action, including reimbursing the state of Texas for the money that we spent, but providing more resources for the federal government to do its job. Also, this is nothing but for show unless it begins to enforce the immigration laws already that exist in the United States of America that are contained in the letter that are provided to the president today.
What did he say to you? What did the president say to you?
He said he wanted to work with us on it.
So he was pretty cordial.
He was cordial.
Do you believe him, though?
After this?
We'll see what happens. Here's the deal. He's never called to talk to me about the immigration issue. Now I've provided him a letter that provides tangible, concrete solutions that will stop illegal immigration. And I expect him to call to me, and that's what Secretary Mayorkas also said.
The president also announced over in the week some changes to policy, to immigration policy. Are you satisfied with those changes?
Those changes will probably do nothing more than entice more illegal immigration. You have to implement the policies in my letter to stop illegal immigration and to begin on the process that what he wants to work on. But that first starts with detaining those who are here illegally as opposed to letting them go on an amnesty program. It means deporting those who cross the border illegally between the points of entry. It means doing what the federal courts have ordered him to do, which is to implement the Remain in Mexico policy as well as Title 42 policy, and going back and continuing to build the border wall in the state of Texas using the taxpayer money already dedicated to building that border wall.
Will you encourage him to keep Title 42 in place?
Not only do I encourage it, we were part of the lawsuit forcing the federal governments to require him to do it. It's more than encouragement. He is required, as president, by the laws to maintain Title 42 in place and enforce it.
Will you ask for more money to the state of Texas to handle this unprecedented?
100%. Texas desperately needs more money. I know the Republicans in the U.S. House have committed to providing Texas the money that we need. We just finished over the past 2 years spending $4 billion of Texas taxpayer dollars for Texas to fill the gap caused by the Biden administration. We're starting a session this next week that we will add another $4 billion to secure the border.
Will you continue pressing I-270?
We are not just Texans, but the city of El Paso, the governor of Colorado, governors of other states, and leaders of other communities. We are removing migrants from our communities because we don't have the capability of handling it. Self-declared sanctuary cities with massive resources like New York, Chicago, and Washington, D.C., they have the capacity to deal with this. Far more than El Paso, but even far more than Del Rio and Eagle Pass and all the other tiny communities along the border that are being overwhelmed by the president's illegal policies that are turning this into an open war situation.
Do you want me to ask you what's in the letter?
Sure. What's in the letter is I start by telling him that he's 2 years and about $20 billion too late, and then I urge him in the letter to see the real chaos. What everybody here may already know and that is that there were thousands of migrants sleeping on the streets in El Paso that have been cleaned up in the past few days. And I asked him to go see the areas where we have these mass migration crossings and go visit with the people who own property and live on the border whose lives have been totally disrupted. And then I said, Mr. President, you have a job to do, and that is to enforce the immigration laws already on the books. And I outlined 5 ways in that letter of what he can do right now without any new law having to be passed. Number 1 is to detain anybody who comes into this country illegally for the removal process and not engage in this massive amnesty program of letting people go wherever they may go. Number 2 is to restart the deportation process that ICE is already authorized to do to remove from our country anybody who comes here illegally. Number 3 is to stop people from violating U.S. law by crossing across the border between the ports of entry. Then I say he must follow what the federal courts have told him to do, and that is to enforce Title 42 and enforce Florida Mexico policy. And then the last one was to use the taxpayer money already appropriated to build the border wall in Texas. Thank y'all very much.
Thank you so much. Ask for additional money for Operation Lone Star?
Thank you. Say again?
I heard you said you were going to ask the ledge for additional funds for Operation Lone Star?
The state legislature, we're all on the same page. This past Biden, spent $4 billion taxpayer. This Biden will spend another $4 billion taxpayer dollars to fill the gap caused by Joe Biden's open border policy.
What will you do if the Supreme Court ends Title 42?
Say it again?
What are your thoughts on it being the first president border after moving office?
My thought about this being the president's first visit to the border after being in office for 2 years is that it is stunning and astonishing and outrageous that this is his first time down here. Even if it were not for the chaos that's already down here, he should have been here. But because he declared or caused this chaos himself, he should have been down here from day 1 to fix the problem that he created.
Governor, did you have a conversation with Veronica Escobar?
Yes.
What was that discussion all about?
I also handed her a copy of the letter that I provided to the president. And I told Veronica Escobar what I told the president. And that is, there are solutions to fix all this that already exist in federal law. And all you all have to do is to ensure that the president complies with current United States law to secure the border by enforcing the current immigration laws that allow for the detainment and the deportation of people who come into the United States illegally. Thank you all very much.